Hi y'all. This guitar is tuned in what's called a C6 tuning with added G. Okay, or with added 5. A regular C6 tuning starts on what is my 6th string, like it always would be. Here's your 1st, it's the skinniest one. Here's your 6th. It would typically be the fattest one. I have added a fatter 7th one below it. For the short time, I'm going to ignore that string. We're going to pretend this guitar only has 6 strings for this conversation. Okay, so this is a C6 tuning, I told you that. Okay, a basic C major chord is the C, 1 note, the 3 note, which is the E. Okay, here's my 1, 2, 3, there's my 3, there's my E, see it's the same note, whoops. As you can see on this slide, you got to be really good to get directly intonation. That's good practice for me. Okay, so you got C, E is my 3, 2, 3, and my 4, 4, 5, that's a G note, so my C major chord is going to be 1, 3, and 5 of my C scale. Well, strangely enough, that's what those 3 strings are. That's a C string, an E string, and a G string. Any kind of open tuning is going to have some related pattern here to where the reason it's an open chord is because all the strings are tuned to make a chord. Now I've got this low G on here. That's still a C chord, it's just got G happening twice. The reason I've got that on there is for my own particular taste, because I like to go to start a run to go into a song that's played in C. It's pretty much all there is to it. That's why I've got that there, because I can go below this melody. But that's 1, 3, and 5. Now, I'm going to jump over this string here for a minute. This 2nd string is another C. So there's an octave right there. And I could play a C chord by using that one and this 3 and 5. That's also a C chord. It's what's called a different inversion, and I'm going to drop that word on you and let it hang there. I'm going to come back to inversions. But basically what an inversion means is that your root note, in this case a C note, is not at the bottom of the chord. Your typical first inversion or most simple major chord is 1 at the bottom, 3 in the middle, and 5 on the top. Now, because this is tuned to an open chord, then wherever I touch this bar, I will get a major chord. See, this is my D note. That's my 2. But if I touch this bar here, I'll get a D chord, because it's still 1, 3, and 5 of the D scale. Here's an F chord, here's a G chord, here's an A chord. Okay, so that's how come these open tunings are so popular, because you don't have to make funny hand shapes. You can just, if you're using a regular guitar and a slide, you can put your slide across all of them, or you can bar your finger, whatever. Now you can make funny hand shapes. That's a different deal. I'm not going there. On the C6 though, we've got 1, 3, 5, and then we have the 6th note. Now if you remember, okay, that note is the same as my 6th note if I came up this string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In the case of the E, of the C tuning, that sixth note is an A. C, D, E, F, G, A. Now, if you play the whole chord, that's a kind of an odd harmony because you've got a fifth and a sixth right side by side. They're only one whole step apart. That's an unusual harmony. You're used to it though because that sixth chord has been used in umpteen bazillion Hawaiian songs and Western swing songs. The Hawaiian players being the people who first invented this particular tuning. Doesn't that sound like a nice Hawaiian chord? Okay, but the magic of that, I told you in my minor chords class, which if you haven't seen it, you may want to go look at it again, that your relative minor on any major chord or major scale is based on the sixth scale degree or sixth note or just plain sixth note of that scale. So if I've got 1, 3, 5, and then I've got 6, 1, 3, then that's a minor chord because it's my 6 and the other two notes of my root chord, C, E, G, A, C, E, and it works on any fret. There's my G major chord. There's my E minor chord. That is the relative minor to the key of G. In F, that's my F major chord, and the relative minor in F, the sixth, you can just go like this, okay? F, G, A, B, C, D. I left out some flats, but that's still, you got to use every letter, so it's got to be F, G, A, B, C, D, and so the D chord is my D minor is my relative minor. So that's why people like this. It's one of the reasons people like this C6 tuning, because I can play a song that uses major chords and minor chords, and I can play it all on this same tuning. On my other guitar that was just tuned a straight C major chord, in fact it was tuned exactly like these four strings, C, G, no it wasn't, it was a G major, but it was 5, 1, 3, 5. It was in G instead of C, so it was actually these notes. But same difference, okay? Now I couldn't make a real minor chord on that tuning. I could do this. You see that note there? That's my minor third, and that's what makes the chord minor. If the third is reduced by half a step, that's a minor third. Now I couldn't make a minor third of my other tuning, so I just play the first and the fifth and let the guitar player who's the brains of the outfit play a real minor chord, and she'd have that minor third note in there, so it would be okay. So I wouldn't be playing the major third, because that would really screw it up to your ears. It wouldn't sound at all right with that minor chord. You can get away with just playing a first note and a fifth note when the other guy's playing a minor, and it's not a minor chord, but it doesn't clash with one. Okay? Now, say for instance I wanted to play City of New Orleans in the key of C. It goes riding on in a C chord, the city of in a G chord, New Orleans in a C chord, and then it goes A minor chord, 6 minor, relative minor, Illinois Central, Monday morning, that's my 4 chord, my F, male, and a little G to turn around, and then it goes 15 cars and 15 restless riders, 2 conductors, 35 sax of mail. Now in this song, so that's your basic 4 chord progression, and there are about 1 million songs out there that use exactly that much. They use the 1 chord, the 4 chord, the 5 chord, and the relative minor. And if you're trying to learn a song and there's a chord that 1, 4, and 5 doesn't cover, first thing you should try is the relative minor and see if it fixes it. It might. There's some other chords I'm going to cover on coming videos. Okay, so how are we tuned then from the string closest to me away? Now there's some debate. That's not really the right way to define it, but that's the way my brain works, and so you're stuck with me, or you can go find somebody who's more rational to teach you your videos, which is probably a good idea too. But I am 1, 3, 5, 6, 1, 3. And if you want to play a melody across there, okay, 1, 2, 3, it's only half step to your 4, 4, there's your 5, it's a whole step to your 6, but it's already there, 6, it's a whole step to your 7, and only a half step to your 8. So you can play a complete major scale across this neck. Only touching the bar down 2 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you can play a lot of melody runs and stuff in C6 without having to move your bar very far. Although you can get yourself in trouble trying to make a solid rule out of that. Okay, if you're playing in C6 and you don't want to sound country and you don't want to sound Hawaiian, you got to dodge that note, except when you want a minor chord.